Hanin Bouzou. Good morning, everybody. Menogajep. Welcome to the council meeting this morning. There's some road construction going on. We're a little late this morning and kind of held up some of us here. So we're going to get started with our meeting here in Vermilion. And Robert Moyer is in Ottawa looking at some scrolls that could possibly be boys' sports. And so he is excused for the meeting. But with that, I will call the meeting to order at 9:14 a.m. And as always, we start our meetings off in a good way, and we have invocation this morning by our spiritual advisor, Mr. Vern Adams. Miigwech, Vern. Okay, next we will have roll call.
Kathy Chavers.
Here.
Tara Gishik.
Here.
Shane Drift.
Oma, here.
Travis Morrison.
Here.
Robert Moyer.
Excused. Okay, next we have approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions or deletions or corrections?
I do. Good morning, everyone. The first addition to the agenda that I would like to add is Sarah came in to discuss the update on the youth prize grant, and we could put that under letter G of the consent agenda, underneath the consent agenda. And then under myself, I'd like to make just a quick change to the Minneapolis Selection Board. I just need a motion just to make sure that everything is done correctly. And then I will present Jalen Strong's application for Shakopee funding. Jalen's with Representative Moyer in Canada, so I will present that. And then under other, Gloria Love would like to discuss the wisdom steps and the representative for that. So.
Okay, any other additions or corrections?
Yes, I'd like to add probably a discussion just regarding the resolution that I asked for regarding the getting that lake listed as a no landing zone, and just to if we can get an update on from Jeff on that.
Okay. With that, any more? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the agenda with those additions.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Next, we have approval of our May 15, 2024 meeting minutes.
Regarding the meeting minutes, at the previous meeting, I asked about the audits that the Secretary Treasurer should do or can do regarding audits or forensic audits, and we were looking for an update for that, or I was asking for an update on that at the last meeting, I do believe, and we never got one, and so I kind of like wondering where we're at with that.
And I don't remember, but I thought we addressed that, but I'm not sure. So that was quite a while ago, I think, that you talked about that. I can't remember what meetings it was.
I want to say there is a resolution out there. Jeff, can you correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a resolution out there for the Secretary Treasurer to do her duties.
Yep. There was a proposed resolution that I had drafted just based on council's direction. And I think that is, I don't believe there was any action taken on it, but it was circulated. So I can resend that.
Okay, can you please resend that, Jeff? So we can get that
will
taken
do.
care of? Okay.
And the other thing too is that I know that we was talked about regarding the language and culture meeting, but nothing was ever set in stone, like when the meeting's going to happen, what's going to take place, and all that. And so I'm following up on that. Where are we at with that?
It's set up for next Friday from 9 to 11. And we invited, I'm just bringing the calendar up here. It is in the Bird Room. We got a lot of attendees attending that. So do you want to welcome that to the public?
Yeah, we can move it if we need, we can move it if we need to move, if we get more people, but the only people that I invited on the calendar invite itself was Jalen, Jessica, and Ryan Bajan right now. Because you guys wanted to talk about with the core group first before we went, yeah.
Jessica who?
She works with Jalen, the language.
Oh, okay, the second.
Okay, so I think at that time too, I will bring to that meeting Grand Portage has a 5-year language plan, and I'd like to see us develop something like that. So I have a copy of their language plan that I'll distribute to the council and use as a guide, because other tribes are moving forward with their language and stuff. So I think it'd be good if we had a plan in place for language. So.
One of the things I submitted to the BIA end of year funding with Kim was that funding for a couple of Anishinaabe Win books to be developed, and also to have CDs to go along with it, and also MP3 formats. And one thing as I was looking at is the curriculum, how it's going to go. It's going to be a question in the Anishinaabe Win with a response, but the response is going to be 4 times repeated. Another response 4 times repeated. And like maybe at the 4th time, the same question. And then I'm going to put that out there for the people to see what best works for everybody, because our way of learning has changed from our ancestors. And because we're most likely learning from how we learn from school, in school. So I think that's what we need to take that into consideration. Thank you.
Okay, any questions on the meeting minutes? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the May 15, 2024 meeting minutes.
I'll move.
Moved by Tara. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Next, we have the consent agenda. First item is approved resolution 86-2024, submission of letter of intent and application for the home electrification and appliance rebates program grant fund through the Department of Energy. That one is a 400. Approved RFP for Cannabis Regulatory Commission Director, 400. Approved change order for Northland Metal exteriors. Which roof is that? It says law enforcement. Thank you. Law enforcement roof in the amount of $7,713.05, 400. Approved 105L lease modifications for International Falls, Ambulance Facility, New Moon, Health and Human Services and Garage and Leander House, 400. Approved contract with DSGW renovation of Virginia property, PLESHA, the PLESHA building, 310, Shane denied. Approved resolution number 87-2024, contract with Hawk Construction and use of ARPA funds for construction of Vermilion Maintenance Garage and Food Shelf Building, 400, and approved 105L lease modification for Vermilion Center, 400. Questions on the consent agenda?
Yes, a couple of things is that for letter E, approved contract with DSGW renovation of Virginia property, PLESHA, I denied it. And the reason why I denied it is because how DSGW has been doing business, and I don't like what they're doing, and how they are, the behavior is unprofessional, and so that's why I denied it. For letter F, approved resolution number 87-2024, contract with Hawk Construction. I asked the question in the poll, how much money will be used from the ARPA SLFRF funds, and I have not received a response.
Okay, I don't see Kim here today, so that's where that, is she? Kim? Oh, there you are. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, I'm sorry, what was the question on the SLFR funds again? Couldn't quite
How
hear.
much money will be used from the ARPA SLFRF funds for the Hawk Construction project?
We will be sitting down to vet that all out. We have a rough estimate. I talked to Carol the other day. We had earmarked, if I can pull it up, I can give you a better, I have it on a spreadsheet. Hold on.
Kim, I think, is that the same spreadsheet, Carol? Yeah. Carol has the spreadsheet, Kim. She's going to show it to the council.
Okay.
It says here the total amount is $4,586,500. If you guys want to take a look at it.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Carol.
So there's been a dollar amount dedicated from ARPA money for the project, but we have all that other funding involved too. And so Kim and I will meet and we're going to figure out how all of those funding sources are going to play into each contract. And we'll do a revised thing so we can do the account numbers and we know when we get invoices where the money's coming from. Okay, and we'll share that when we're done.
Yeah, just as a draft, HUD ICDBG has 700,000, BIA ARPA has 1.5 million, ARPA has 2 million, IRRB has 386,500. There's a Head Start component that we're looking for funding for yet, but without the Head Start program, the total project cost is 4.5 million. So, good, okay. Any other questions on the consent agenda? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Tara. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Next, we have Sarah Kinnunen.
I'm not sure if Christy Snyder is on. Can you see?
Good morning.
If she came on. Good morning. She'd be a guest, or I'm not sure if she came on or not. Okay, I'll start without her if we don't have her. No? Okay. So, oh, there she is. Hi, Christy. Welcome. Okay, so Boys for It was awarded the Youth Prize grant for $339,300. This will be for the direct cash transfers for youth ages 18 to 24. Carol Burr helped write this grant with me, and also we have Vonda Lee Carr, Teresa Drift, Jackie Wilson, and Wendy Drift will all be assisting with this. One other component we'd like to bring in is the credit union as well, because we'd like for all the youth to be set up with an account if they don't have one. So we'll be working with Vermilion Credit Union for that. It's slow and steady for this. I had a meeting with Christy last week, and it sounds like January 1 will be the start date. Is that still the start date worth looking at, Christy?
Yeah, I think that we're working. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here virtually. We've been working with Sarah and her team to think about how we prioritize band members in the selection based on the feedback from last tribal council. And so we want to make sure we have enough time to prepare the youth directed services and make sure that there is an ability to do this ethically and beautifully.
Mm-hmm. So we will be seeking out 30 young people, ages 18 to 24. We're only going to be doing Boys for It enrolled band members and descendants. We felt like that's going to be the best data. Another thing to point out is this is the first direct cash transfer program for an Indigenous nation. So we will be the first ones. So support from all would be great in the community as well. Christy, correct me if I'm wrong on the numbers that I give out here. North St. Louis County would receive, the youth would receive $5,000 upfront payment and $900 per month. In the Southern St. Louis County, it would be $1,000 per month, $1,200 if they are parenting, and a $3,000 upfront payment. We will also be serving Hennepin County, and I believe it's $1,000 per month, $1,200 per month if they are parenting, and the $3,000 upfront payments. I'm just looking at all my notes real quick here. Just make sure, Oh yes, there's no ties to it. So we don't have a match. We don't have anything that we need to worry about there. This is not going to be counted on their taxes. Is it state and federal or only state?
I think it's both. We've been working with the U.S. Treasury as well. So I think we're good to go that it won't count as income.
Okay. Okay. I know Kim Greiner had mentioned we could write some type of letter too, if need be for this. Am I missing anything, Christy, for the update?
No, we'll be recruiting young people and community members to be a part of the governance structure. So that's one of the reasons why we want to take time to build that as well, so that young people feel empowered in leading the structure.
Mm-hmm. And again, participants, they don't have to participate in services. We will become creative. We're going to come up with ideas on how to keep youth engaged and how for them to reach back out. And I'll be reaching out to them as well, or whoever ends up doing this position. Oh, and this will also pay for one position too.
That'll be in charge of this kind of like program, or
yes,
overseeing it, I guess?
Overseeing it. Okay. Well, for now, it will be me.
Okay.
We'll kind of move forward from there with all the changes we have. So, yeah.
Any questions for Sarah? This sounds like a great program.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah, we're excited to get it. Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to it. Go ahead, Shane.
Yes. First off, I'd like to say congratulations and thank you for all the hard work that you ladies are doing. You and Carol and Teresa and all the other ones for this grant, especially. And one of my first questions is, with indirect cost, is it able to pay the indirect cost, or is that?
On this one, I don't know if we have indirect. No.
I think it's 10% indirect.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Kim, are you still on?
Yes.
So with that 10% indirect cost, and what is the tribe's indirect cost rate?
It's like 24%.
So the tribe's gonna have to absorb that other 14% then.
10%, yeah.
Okay.
And how many years is this? Is it? It's not a 1-year grant. It's like, is it a 3-year grant? Yeah. So it's over 3 years. So 14% over 3 years of probably just roughly easily 100,000. So, yeah.
Okay. My next question is that, with this grant, and you said band members, now is that statewide? Is that,
So they need to reside in St. Louis County or Hennepin County.
okay. And is it limited? Is like you can only pay like light bills, water bill?
They can do whatever they would like to do with the cash.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I wish I was 18.
I know.
But no, I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Good, Jeff.
I had a quick question. What exactly do they got to do?
So the point is to prevent homelessness before it starts. So they will be encouraged to use this towards rent, towards living, but they can use it for whatever they're going to need. If they need it for a car payment, for food. So it's basically money that you will receive, like how it was explained to me, like if your parents gave you money to support you through college or something like that. So this is just giving young folks a boost and a way to kind of get moving in life. So yeah.
Sarah, I have
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, are you done? Okay.
I was just going to say, yeah, it sounds like a very good program. I know a few young people that could take advantage of this.
Yeah, I will
use it
definitely
in a good
take
way.
referrals now and start screening young people through the process, because if they're looking to be housed now, we have other programs that we could house them now with. So.
Okay. What are the reporting requirements for your program yourself? What are you going to be reporting on? And then are there any requirements for the participants, receipts or anything like that? You just said a recommendation, but I just fear that, that maybe somebody will not use it for housing and responsible things. So how are you going to try to prevent that? And is there any reporting out from, how do you account for that money is what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting component. I'm going to have Christy answer that one.
Sure, great question. One of the things that we're focused on is the long-term housing stability outcomes. And so the reason why we would recruit and screen people into this program is that they're experiencing housing instability, and this is meant to get them up on their feet. It's based on international projects that have been done similarly, that have had really good outcomes in housing stability. And with young people in particular, we're looking at taking advantage of how they can leverage career training, college, those sorts of programs too, so that at the very beginning of the program, we're having conversations about replacing that income at the end of the program. The goal will never be to extend. It will be 2 years total, and that will be clear from the get-go. And so the goal will be looking at survival services, like making sure that they have housing navigation, daily living skills, whatever they need to survive, and then moving into thriving. So helping them to make a plan, so forth. We're not going to collect receipts. That is, we're just looking at the reporting of their overall outcomes. Young people will be given a incentive to participate in monthly surveys. And so that's how we'll collect the data. So the project from the very beginning has been youth-directed, youth-driven. And so we're hoping to, part of the 6-month ramp-up is to work with Sarah and her team to figure out what makes the most sense for reporting. But our hunch is that we'll rely on the young people themselves to report out their outcomes.
Oh, sorry, I had to step away, but thinking about the grant, how long is it? 2 years? And then once the 2 years is starting to wind down, are we going to be able to apply for it again?
So the goal is, like, during this time, I'm working on policy statewide to have more funding that is available through the state. So this is seen as a pilot. which is why we were very intentional about coming to you all to get your feedback. We shifted the grant so that it had an Indigenous specific provider. And all of these outcomes that we're looking for the pilot, the goal is that we will get funding from the state to replicate. And so just for awareness, last session, I worked with others to do a big bill for guaranteed basic income. It did not pass, but we had really good representation and ideas on how to move that forward. Obviously, last year was not a budget session, so it was really for awareness. And we're right now organizing to go for 2025 session to get more funding so that we can replicate this or extend for other people in the same regions. So again, the money comes from the state. Youth Prize is trying to shepherd it and make sure that we have a solid pilot to be able to go to scale.
Guess where I'm going with that is that, in case if something doesn't go the way that's being planned to go and the funding doesn't come through, is that now we're basically, our kids, our young adults are going to not have the means that they once had with this program. And is that, how can we keep moving them forward, because now they don't have that extra income coming in. So I think we need to make plans for that eventuality.
And I would be happy to connect with you all again as we start to build out what we're hoping to call an economic security for all bill in 2025. And we'd love to have your feedback and ideas on what should be included in that bill. But we've been partnering with guaranteed basic income pilots around the state that really are focused more on more mature people, we'll say. And so we're just making sure that young people are at the table and in the conversation. And so we've been able to testify last session, move that forward. So that is our line of sight, is to think about how we get funding, likely from workforce, because what we've been able to see from outcomes with more mature folks is that they're more likely to get employed at higher wage jobs because of the guaranteed basic income, because of these direct cash pilots. And so that is where modeling what we believe to be our outcomes based on other pilots, and excited to work with young people in this way to design and implement the pilot.
I think that, once you are going forward with this, and if you need somebody to testify for this program, I'd be happy to volunteer. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
I have a suggestion. I know we're taking too long on this. But if you guys, maybe Carol already thought about this, but please include Terrell Warren Vilburn on this, because he often sends people from St. Louis County down to the cities for training. So where would they be applying? St. Louis County, or when they get down, down to the cities in Hennepin County for training? Some of his, and they're around that age, 18 to 24.
Yeah, that's great.
So keep in mind that, he often sends people down there. So it's not Ramsey County, it's just Hennepin County.
Hennepin.
Okay, thank you.
Christine and Sarah, coming with the 2025 legislative session, tribes can help you in your lobbying efforts with this, because I really feel that this is going to be an awesome program, especially for youth homelessness. When you consider youth, I mean, it's really young adults here. But I think that, by incorporating also the 477 tarot and that training component, to give them the opportunity, because sometimes they're just overwhelmed with everything. They just, can't figure things out and struggle. So I'm really excited to see how, I think this, to me, it's going to be really successful. Because it's dealing with the homelessness issue for the young adults, and also a way for them to better themselves with this pilot project. So I'm really looking forward to it. But in the legislative session, maybe sometime down the road, once you guys get something done, it'd be maybe a good idea to bring this to MIAC for their support also, and the Minnesota Chippewa tribe. So to support you guys. Okay.
That's great.
Okay, good. Good
Thank
report. Thank you. Great job, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy.
Okay, next we have Christine Lundemo with the Early Head Start Center licenses. Good morning, Christine. I see your name.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, I'm here to get approval for the 24-25 center license for the Vermilion Head Start Early Head Start and the Net Lake Head Start Early Head Start centers. IHS comes and does 2 inspections on our centers a year. And from that report, our health and safety manager, Laura Furwalt, she is working at fixing the corrections that were on that inspection. And then we also have 2 parents from each center do a health and safety checklist that goes along with that as well. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Any questions for Christine?
Yes, question is that, with these items that are supposed to be fixed, is there a timeline when they're supposed to be done?
We just try to get them done in that because they come twice a year. We have that 6-month window to repair any findings until we get the next inspection 6 months later. So that's kind of how that works. Vermilion Center, we have our maintenance, Bob Amatrano. He works on and Amber Wilkie work on the findings over there. And then over here, we work with either the maintenance or Nuke, who's the janitor at the school. Because we lease our building from the school, then they're responsible for fixing like ceiling tiles, stuff like that. Heating, cooling, they're responsible for that. So if there was any findings in that, then we would work with the school.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the Vermilion and Net Lake Early Head Start and Head Start Center licenses?
Move.
Moved by Shane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Travis. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Good job, Christine. Glad to see you at work.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy and everybody.
Okay, next we have Darlene Johnson. I lost her. Good morning, Darlene. Yes, we can. You have Resolution 89, 2024, authorizing use of ARPA SLFRF funds for Foundation Services Corporation Geosphere installation. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, earlier on, we needed to put through the contract for a sole source because the geopiers are a specialized item that was needed. So we needed to get that ordered immediately. So the contract has already been in place for them to get started on that. But now we need the resolution that goes along with it for the funding, and the total funding for ARPA monies is $132,000.
Any questions for Darlene?
No, just that the amount is 132,000 even?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the resolution that goes along with our ARPA funding, authorizing the use of the ARPA SLFRF funds for the geopier installation?
Move.
Moved
Second.
by Travis, seconded by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. My high-pitched. Yeah, that was a little slip there. Okay, thank you, Darlene. Great job.
You.
Okay, next we have Lance Hill with Resolution 90-2024, permits submitted by Arvig to lay fiber on non-trust land in Deer Creek sector of the Boys Fort Reservation. Good morning, Lance.
All right, good morning. Yeah, so as spelled out there, Arvig is a broadband company, and they are working in the greater Big Fork area. And as a part of that project, they're requesting permission, which will include the Deer Creek sector of Bois Forte. The so they're requesting to lay fiber into their older footprint, and they're Bois Forte has drafted up a resolution for which has conditions in which they would agree to comply with all TIPO, TARO, all applicable laws that allow them, as they seek out right of ways. And it's worth noting that out of this, does not directly cross trust lands. It does go near, but the county road is the border, or is the accepted border, and this runs on the south. So in my opinion, it's crossing. I can say with confidence that it's crossing a private owner's. So some of the things to consider on here, Bois Forte certainly doesn't have a lot of development over there at the moment, but this would have fiber if they pursue future land ownership and such. So I've offered this up for discussion for the past 5 months, and this is what we come back with.
Any questions for Lance?
Yes, with this now, let's say hypothetically, after this project's done and we have band members that move over into Deer Creek and set up a house there, would this company be able to or be willing to install the fiber network to their homes free of charge?
Hypothetically, anything's possible, but I would say that they'd probably be open to discussion.
Maybe this is a question for
hypothetically.
Randy too, is our own CTC, would we be able to operate on Deer Creek with those fiber, with their fiber, or is it totally only Arvig?
Yeah, we and CTC have no infrastructure down there, so it would have to be an extensive build out for us to get our equipment down there.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah. One thing, it could be considered a partnership. What comes to mind is, some of you remembered in the mid-90s and 80s when Highway 65, when it hit the western boundary of Bois Forte to Four Corners, it was unpaved because it was a myriad of ownerships, some trust land, some allotment, some county CATF, tax forfeited land. And so we worked in Bois Forte has worked, I forget exactly, I think it was the planning department back then. So it benefits multiple ownerships. Another thing that comes to mind is some of the communication towers that serve forestry. So I kind of look at this in that similar light. I would think that they would be willing, being that we would be a customer. So I would say that it would be a welcome discussion for them.
Okay, any other questions for Lance? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve resolution number 90-2024 to permit Arvig to lay fiber on non-trust land in Deer Creek sector of the Bois Forte Reservation.
Move.
Moved by Travis. Is there a second? Second by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Thank you, Lance. Good job.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Randy. Next, we have Melissa Wright, sole source request to Innovative Office Supply to purchase 2 Fire King cabinets in the amount of $14,219.
And actually, it will be Cecile.
Oh, Cecile will be doing that. Cecile Schauer. Sure.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Cecile.
Good morning. We are requesting a sole source approval to purchase 2 additional fireproof file cabinets that will store court records. We have already purchased 2 of these cabinets, and we need an additional 2 more to finish our filing project. Cost of these cabinets is about $14,219. And this also includes the delivery costs that pay for bringing the cabinets inside the building as they are very heavy. And funding to purchase these cabinets is coming from our BIA end of the year funds that we have already received.
Great. Any questions for Cecile? If not, I'll call for a motion to approve the sole source request to purchase the 2 Fire King cabinets for $14,219. Moved by Tara. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Silent? Motion carried. Good job, Cecile.
Thank you. You always have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you. Next, we have Luke.
Okay, I'll do the application that Jalen kind of needs submitted to Shakopee. He kind of needs a few things, so I guess the first thing is he needs a resolution. This would be to the Shakopee charitable giving. The total funding amount that we are requesting is $1,120,643.50. And this funding request is to cover the Heritage Center repairs. Right now, we're kind of looking for funding with ARPA, state, tribal, IRRB to kind of help out with this. As you can see in the red, it's kind of a background of Boys Fort and kind of what we need, mission, vision, statement. And then Jeff typed up a resolution for this. And also Jalen kind of needs some tax information on the Cultural and Heritage Center, and then a letter of support. So this is kind of just verifying everything and just verification for him to apply for the Shakopee funding for the Heritage Center project.
Okay, just for everybody's knowledge is that we have received grant funding for various projects, and right now Boys Fort has the last project was our fiber to home project that we received funding for, a grant from Shakopee. That money has been all spent now, so we are now pursuing another grant for the Heritage Center. Currently, in years past, and this has been kind of throughout the years for Boys Fort, where Shakopee used to give tribes money up front years ago when Stanley Crooks was there, but that doesn't happen anymore, so people are aware of that. And currently, we have no funds or anything with Shakopee Metawakanton, but this would be a great project, I think, that I hope they fund for the Heritage Center, because it deals with our prized possessions that are in there, because we need the HVAC done, plus we need the roof fixed. And so I'm hoping that they'll fund this project, because they are really big on cultural and heritage centers. They like to see the tribes have these facilities. So I think Jalen did a good job with his application, and I don't see a problem with any of the things that we need to get to him. So any other questions or comments on the Shakopee?
Yes, looking at the funding approval request and the total amount funding requested, and if you look down at indirect cost allowed, and it says no. So the tribe's going to have to absorb that. And I sent that. So I don't know if Kim would be able to answer that. Kim?
Yeah, I just replied to your text. Construction cost over $5,000 is not subject, it's not charged indirect. So it wouldn't be in the indirect, it wouldn't be subject to being charged indirect. So construction projects don't pay indirect, and we don't calculate indirect using construction projects, because we have a modified pass-through base. So we take all our costs and we take out major fluctuations such as construction to get your direct cost base. So it's not even subject to indirect.
Can you send me information by email? Thank you.
Yeah.
Send to entire tribal council.
Yep.
I already knew that, though, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But indirect is for program, when programs happen. I have a quick question too. If the project exceeds this amount, then where do we go? What are we
Okay.
gonna pay for that with?
So this project, the money has already been set aside in our ARPA SLFRF funds. And so as we have gone through the time through ARPA, if there's an opportunity to seek funding elsewhere, people have been directed to go get other funds to free that up. So we already have it set aside. And so this would free up ARPA dollars for another project.
But we would need to know that by December 30th of this year.
Yep.
Is it likely on track to know that?
We have a contractor already in place for that. So the reason why he's looking for funding for that project is to reimburse or give it back to the tribe. Valen from Fargo was awarded that contract for the Heritage Center, but they were just told to start just the HVAC portion of it. So the roof and the walls that need to be replaced because it's leaking into the artifact area, that's where we told them to hold off in case we got additional funding somewhere else. Does that make sense?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that the, 1.1218643, if anything exceeded that, how the original project, if anything exceeded that and exceeded this amount, that's going to be reimbursed on the back end. If there's any more than that, where would that come from? So that's what I wanted to know.
So from my understanding, if he got awarded the Shakopee, that 1.1 million, you guys have already paid for the HVAC, so that portion would go back into your coffers, which we could actually use for the overage. I mean, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not an accountant, but if I had a checkbook, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to put this money aside because we got it, right? And then if we need it later, we'll use it. But if we don't need it, then it goes back into your account.
Okay, right. I'm just wondering too is if any of that happens and if there's any residual funding from that amount from Shakopee, is it restricted dollars for a construction project, or can Jalen use it for anything else within his within the Heritage Center?
The Shakopee money?
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen the rules on that.
Kim, you've dealt with the Shakopee grants. Do they allow that?
I think if you had like the cost didn't come in at what we had budgeted it for, like it came in less, I think you would have to go back to Shakopee as of any grant and ask for a grant modification. So they could say, it's up to the funder. They could say, no, it's restricted to that. But if you tie it to something like that, maybe they need more handicapped accessibility or upgraded security system, they might be able to modify it and work with Shakopee to, I'm just making up some examples. So.
Okay, I'm just thinking ahead to make sure
Yeah.
that we make use of the full funding.
So the other question, I know Luke, because I had seen what was the list that they had required, and Luke said some tax documents. One thing Shakopee is looking for is us to show that it's a 501c3 nonprofit. We are not a 105c3 nonprofit, but I have a letter from the IRS explaining that as a tribe, we're to be treated like a state, and we are like a nonprofit. So any donations to us are non-taxable.
So my question then is that with this, because in the previous meeting, it was said that once we get this money from Shakopee, it's going to free up the monies that was already earmarked for it. Now what I'm hearing is that because of what Tara just brought up, is that if this cost basically is increased because of inflation or whatever, so that money that was freed up actually really ain't freed up because it's still going to be tied to this project, is what I'm hearing, correct?
Correct, but I'm looking forward. I've never seen a project where it's going to cost that much on overage. It's going to be like, so, and I know you guys don't like this word, but a change order would have to be put in place. And that would only happen, say, they take the roof off and they find something that they couldn't see when they gave us the bid or we gave the specs for it. Same with that outside wall. If they take that out and there's something that nobody could see, that's when a change order would come into place. And I'm gonna, I think, and I don't know if Jeff and Kim want to correct me, but I would be safe to say that that's not going to be 1.21 million to cover that additional cost. You're looking at maybe, I don't even want to throw a number out, but you know, a couple $100,000, if that, and I don't even know if it would be that, right? Because you just don't know. That's just that when in construction, there's always that unknown. And I wish we had a crystal ball to tell you, hey, we're going to probably need this much. Exact, you know what I mean? And I don't have that.
I just hope that, you know, when we start doing this, that it doesn't exceed the amount that's been freed up, you know, if you can see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, we're having, you know, they could dig into it and find more and more and more problems, like, wow.
No,
Oh,
no, I don't see that.
okay.
I
Thank you.
really don't. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments regarding the resolution? If not, the resolution number is 91-2024. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution for Shakopee grant application?
Move.
Oh, moved by Tara. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Okay, Luke, what do you want to do next?
I would like to excuse Madam Chair. We just have to make some motions for the election, Minneapolis Urban Office. And then I'd like Vice Chair Travis Morrison to kind of make the motions. I guess in MCT bylaws, it says that the chair must bring back the ballot box to Net Lake. So I would like to, and you're gonna have to make the motion, Trav, to approve and appoint Charlie Holmes to be the chair of the Minneapolis Urban Office and replace Samara Strong as chair.
All right, calling for a motion to approve Charlie Holmes as the chair of the Minneapolis Urban Office General Election Board.
Move.
Moved by Shane,
Second.
second by Tara. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Yep.
Silent.
Okay. The second one, I would like Darian Morrison to be approved and appointed to the clerk for the Minneapolis Urban Office Election Board.
Call for a motion to appoint Darian Morrison
Move to approve.
as clerk of the Minneapolis Urban Office. Moved by Tara,
Second.
second by Shane. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried.
The third one that we need is to approve and appoint Kristen Holmes as the teller of the Minneapolis Urban Office General Election Board.
Call for a motion to approve Kristen Holmes as the teller for the Minneapolis Urban Office General Election Board.
Move to approve.
Moved by Tara.
I guess I have to second it, huh? Second.
Second by Shane. All in favor say aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Then the last one that we need is to make, to approve and appoint Samira Strong as alternate for the Minneapolis Urban Office General Election Board.
Call for a motion to approve Samira Strong as the alternate for the Minneapolis Urban Office Election Board.
Move to approve.
Moved by Tara,
Second.
second by Shane. All in favor say aye. Opposed, silent, motion carried.
Okay, that's it, so. All right,
Madam
well, that's
Chair.
it for me, so thank you, council. We'll get Gloria Love up to discuss the wisdom steps.
Good morning, Gloria.
Good morning, Tribal Council, and thank you for having me here. Most of you are not 55 yet, so I guess I should really explain to you what Wisdom Steps is. I'm sure you've heard of it throughout your lifetime from your parents, and we know what it is, but the outside world does not know what Wisdom Steps is. Wisdom Steps includes all 11 tribes within the state of Minnesota. We also have, excuse me, Bemidji Urban Office, which we have nobody manning right now. We have urban offices in Duluth, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Wisdom Steps is a health and well-being, excuse me, for our Indian elders. I was appointed to this board in September of 2015 by the previous tribal council. And I have been working as diligently as I possibly can. And in 2019, I had talked with David Morrison Jr. and asked him if he would assist me on the reservation. And he has been trying to help. But with his schedule and all of his outside work that he has to do, he has not been able to assist me. And what we work on mainly is a conference for our Indian elders from all of the reservations within the state of Minnesota. It's the Minnesota Chippewa tribe, Red Lake, and the 4 Sioux tribes. So I'm asking for you to please think very hard about appointing somebody with me. Wisdom Steps back in 2018 asked if I would be their treasurer, because at that time the money was being held at the Minnesota Chippewa tribe in Cass Lake. There was $80-some thousand in their bank account. I took the money away, and the 4 of us on the board, the executive board, moved our money to Mille Lacs Bank, Woodlands National Bank. And as of May 31st, there's over $200,000 in our bank account. We, this year, are not charging our elders to come to the conference. There's no charge for the elders. Bois Forte sets aside a certain amount annually for Wisdom Steps. And I am given, I receive a refund for my hotel room and my mileage. I tell everybody I have to eat whether or not I'm on Wisdom Steps business or not. I do not want the stipend for food. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to assist all of our elders. And for some of you who don't know about the Wisdom Steps, it's a program for all Native American elders. So no matter if I live up on Red Lake, I can be still a part because I'm a Boys Fort band member. We have a conversion chart for elders because we should walk so many steps per day. And the steps are walking from your chair in your living room to the bathroom. Walking all over your house. You get out of your bed, you count your steps to your chair. We have many elders that are wheelchair bound, but they do move around in their own home. So this is just a little, I'll take you back to the beginning of the wisdom steps back in 1998, 99. Kathy Chavers was just a baby at the time. But she sat on the board that started the wisdom steps. I found out about the wisdom steps while I was working at Fortune Bay for you. At that point in time, it was Geraldine Hanks. And she was, for many years, the Wisdom Steps representative. And then it went to, after Geraldine, Doris Isham was the person who contacted me and asked if I would assist her with this Wisdom Steps. Last year, we had 12 people that attended our conference. And what we have to do is get our steps and our health records to me, who is the representative. So I have come to a couple of different things this past year, and nobody has gotten back to me with their steps and medical records. That's what I need from them to attend the conference. So I need somebody that can diligently work with me to go out and about planning this conference. We have a meeting approximately once a month. So yes, I spend about $700 annually out of the funds that should go for the elders attending the conference, because we all have to provide our own transportation, and Boys Fort is really, really good about providing the transportation to those people that get their steps and health records in. But it's a matter of getting them into me, because I'm the representative and the treasurer that has to account for every penny for the wisdom steps. And my last letter that I sent out was dated February 5th of 2024 to remind everybody that our conference is June 18th through the 20th, and we'll be at Jackpot Junction down in Morton, Minnesota. And I had already talked with Ed Villebren about a bus for Boys Fort. And this is for all band members. You don't have to live on the reservation. I do not live on the reservation. I never have. But I want to represent Boys Fort to my best capabilities for all of us. So what I'm asking for is to think very hard. And a couple of names have been thrown out to me. I'm not truly certain whether or not, I know Roxanne Goggle-Eye has told me she would assist me. Ed Vilbrin told me he would assist me. And, oh, what's her name? It just left my head, Kathy. Jenny Rowland, thank you. her name was thrown to me, but poor Jenny had set up meetings for me that I held, one at Nut Lake, and it was sent through the internet over here to Vermilion. I guess I have a problem with Vermilion saying that they are not included in a lot of Nut Lake items. You know what? I live at Ely Lake. I'm not included. And there are an awful lot of us off reservation that feel that same way. So I'm trying to encourage everybody to keep healthy. Tara, your mother used to come. Your mother came to every conference. She attended meetings. I just need your assistance because last year, Mille Lacs Band pulled completely out of the Wisdom Steps Conference. And that was accounting for 92 people. So, but this year, Red Lake and the Lower Sioux Nations have increased their constituents that attend the meeting. So what I'm asking for from the Tribal Council is please think about people that would have time to attend these quarterly meetings and work with our elders. We meet 4 times a year. We meet July, October, January, and April. So the main thing I would like you to know is that I truly believe in the wisdom steps. I fight for it. I attend every meeting that I can. Patting myself on the back is what I'm doing, okay? But I believe in this. So thank you for listening to me, and please think very diligently about somebody that could work for our elders. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Maybe what we can do, Jenny Rowland is the elderly, or the in charge of the elderly program. Maybe an idea, it's nice to hear that there's people like Roxanne and Ed and that want to help as well. So maybe if we can get a hold of Jenny and have her maybe put up, there might be others out there that we don't know about, and get it on our webpage about anybody that wants to help participate with Gloria on the board as an alternate, a sign-up sheet or something, so we can get her the help that she wants to do, and also get people more involved in the program. It's a preventative health program basically for elders, and it's a great program. Mary Snowball is the one that actually started Wisdom Steps back in the day, and it's like, it's a very good program, and we want to keep our elders healthy and active and getting those screenings like mammograms and prostate and all of those, and exercise, basically. So maybe if we could get in touch with Jenny and see what ideas they have, because I know she's trying to also get together with the, get an elders council together. So that might be another opportunity there, so. But it's a really good program. And it's been around a long time. Any other comments?
Yes, I agree with that, and try to help you as best we can, and also, yeah, take it one step further and restore the Elders Committee. Bring back the Elders Committee for Boys Fort.
I thank you all very much. I agree with you with the Elders Committee, but we have to find out a way to combine Nut Lake, Deer River, or Deer Creek. We have to find a way to include Nut Lake and Vermilion and all the outside people, because how many band members do we have from Hibbing, Virginia, Evelyn, the entire St. Louis County area, the entire state of Minnesota. We have many people that attend, that go to the Minneapolis St. Paul office. I'm working with Colette Lawrence now since Barb Benjamin Robertson, and these are names not from Bois Forte, but they work with our people at all over. And we have nobody manning the Bemidji office right now. Okay, Vicki?
Listen, to be honest, I've never heard of the wisdom steps. And if there's a problem between, communication between Net Lake and Tower, I know there is a lot of communication problems between Net Lake and Vermilion. We don't have anybody, I don't think, over here that is on a committee for the wisdom steps. Like I said, I've never heard of it. I've never gotten any information on it. So I think there is a problem that way. And it would probably be good to have maybe somebody over here on the Wisdom Steps program also, and the elder group or whatever it is.
I think that would be a good idea. Who has the bylaws for the elder committee? I imagine we can look them up somehow. And then the bylaws for the wisdom steps. I don't know if that's online or where we can get that, but I think Jenny Rowland needs a copy of all of that information. And if you can send it to, or whoever has it can send it to the tribal council also. I'd like to look at that. So you said the commitment, I have it written here, it says 1 time a month meeting, but then there's quarterly meetings on top of that. So, so we can adequately tell each elder or 55 and older what that commitment is and what it takes to be a representative on the committees, on the wisdom steps, and the elders committee that we're trying to reinvigorate. So I think we need to start there. And then also we would need, because if there's a reimbursement through our travel or whatever, elders would need help with that too. So I think it's possible that we can get this going. We just need to get out there and recruit. Would love to have 1 rep from Net Lake and 1 rep from Vermilion to get this going. So if you guys can send me that, the bylaws and anything that goes with the wisdom steps, and then the actual elder committee for Bois Forte, I'd like to review that, and I'd help recruit some folks for you, because that's knocking on my door just a couple more years. So Miigwech.
Miigwech Tara. I represent Bois Forte as a whole, both Net Lake and Vermilion. And when I represent Bois Forte, I also include the off-reservation. I include all the way from International Falls down to Morton, Minnesota, all the way from Grand Portage over to the western part of Minnesota. I represent wisdom steps for Bois Forte, and I don't live on the reservation. I vote at Net Lake because my grandmother is from Net Lake. That's where we Hackies came from. I do have information for you here, and I also sat on the the Boys Fort Committee back in the day, and I do have, and I just ran into them in some paperwork that I have, but I've got the bylaws for Wisdom Steps and for the Boys Fort Elder Committee. I will go through my paperwork again at home, but right now I'm dealing with Wisdom Steps. Thank you. Miigwech.
Thanks, Gloria. If you could share those documents when you relocate them again, that'd be great. And so we'll get moving on this with Jenny, and I think a rep on each side is good. And we'll put sign-up sheets for a Vermilion, and it'd be nice to have alternates so people can so they can have follow in case something happens where one can't attend, then we got another one coming, but there should be alternates also. So, okay, good. We'll get moving on that. Miigwech.
Thank you very much. Miigwech.
Okay, we have no other business, so with that, I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn at 10:30. Oh, Tara.
You announced that Travis's last meeting and just kind of give a, is that appropriate or not appropriate? Oh, okay, then at that one. Okay.
Before we adjourn,
Sorry, we had a little discussion.
before we adjourn, I asked for a update on the resolution
Yes, I'm sorry, Shane.
regarding the, every time I try to bring up stuff, it always kind of gets pushed off to the side. But for the resolution calling for Net Lake to be listed as a no landing zone, so that people, when they see that when they're in an airplane, they know that you can't land on our lake.
Yeah.
Where are we at with that, Luke?
My apologies, Shane, you're lost in my notes on my agenda. But yes, Shane had his discussion regarding wanting a resolution on the no landing zone. So Jeff, I know we were talking about the conservation code as well, because for those that don't know, there was a plane that landed on Net Lake. When was that? A week and a half ago? A week and a half or so ago, unexpectedly, they were fishermen from Canada, but they landed on our lake thinking they were on Pelican, and our conservation code is in the process of being updated. And, you know, like Shane said, you know, we really protect our lake, and Tara knows this, and everybody knows this, that we don't even allow motorboats on our lake, and then a plane flies in. So, you know, what are the, where are we at with that process? And if you could give us an update, Jeff and Luke, please.
Sure. Yeah, I can give an update. So it's a work in progress. We should be able to get you a draft resolution that I think would probably then incorporate, you know, those restrictions and rules into the conservation code directly as well. It's taking a little bit more time only because, as we talked about when we talked about it last, you know, Shane's feedback about the no landing zone sort of led to a broader discussion about, you know, what are the other restrictions that make sense to put in writing regarding that lake for its protection as an exercise of the band's sovereignty. And we talked about things like, you know, clarifying no dipping, wildfire no dipping restrictions, motorized use restrictions, which aren't in the conservation code right now. That obviously, you know, leads to a discussion too of whether there are needed exceptions in the event of emergencies, and also what types of enforcement provisions for fines or forfeitures or things like that the council and the band wants to tie to those restrictions. So that's why it's taking a little bit more time, is just because, you know, the incident with the plane kind of led to a broader discussion of a variety of restrictions that would make sense to have in writing for the lake's protection. So we are in process, and we'll get you a draft resolution soon, and I suspect that'll lead to back and forth and some discussions because the wording will be really important. So yeah, that's the update on my end, but I appreciate the follow-up.
Jeff, also with that, with the no landing zone, also that we put in there that, when there's a fire, forest fire, wherever, that the helicopters or plane cannot dunk their drop tanks in there to pick water out. I think we should add that in there as well.
Yep, I've got that on my list, and that's what I was kind of referring to when I was referencing no dipping. I don't know what the actual term is because I've heard water bombing too, so I don't know what it's actually called. But yeah, that's definitely on my list to address as well, Shane. So thank you.
I think that we as a council should also look at, if somebody does land on our lake again, that there should be dire consequences for doing that, and not just a little slap on the hand. It's, oh, here, take your plane, go ahead and leave. Me and Jeff kind of got into it, defining sovereignty. But getting back to the consequences, it's like, if they do land on a lake, we can confiscate their plane, and then if they want to get their plane back, they have to buy it back at an auction. Harsh penalties.
Yeah, that discussion was very lengthy, and we brought up a lot of things and items that we need to think about. One of mine was AIS, aquatic invasive species, introducing to our lake any machinery or planes or anything that's landing, and also if they happen to have done that on a ricing season, that stiff penalties need to happen if we had a crop loss because of it, during any hunting, during duck season, that kind of stuff. So yeah, there was a heavy discussion on all of these items. But I do recall seeing an email, and maybe Luke can pull that up. I asked about AIS on the most recent, when the plane landed a week and a half ago. I asked about AIS, and I was reassured that there was testing done. Luke, could you give an update on that?
Yes, and our conservation officers, our DNR department, did conduct testing, and they did not indicate that there was any invasive species on that plane. Also, the state was there; they did testing as well, and there was any invasive species on the plane skis. So 2 tests were done, and no zebra mussels or anything was indicated through the testing.
And Tara also brought up a good point when we were meeting, because it really broadened, a little short meeting broadened into a longer meeting, because there are times when emergencies do arise on the lake with either ricers or hunters, and we have to make sure that we address those issues as well. But I think the airboat does well with that, but we just never know what we're going to encounter with regards to any type of medical or life-threatening emergencies on the lake. So we really need to keep that in mind as well, because we know we've had that in the past. So, but it's going to be a good process, because right now, because we didn't have, a lot of people were saying, similar to Red Lake, are you going to take the plane or whatever? We didn't have anything in place to do that. And so we got to make sure, well, who would ever thought that a plane would land anyway, but we got to make sure we have those safety things in place for the future, because anything can happen at any time. Anything else, Shane, did you want to bring up on the plane?
No, that's just that's the thing. That means Jeff got into it a little bit about sovereignty. That I understand where he's coming from, that things need to be pre-written, but that's coming from the outside. That's coming from the state side. And if we're going to define sovereignty, it needs to be defined by us as band members, as a tribe. And that when something happens, we should be able to just write a policy right then and there and put it in place. But we've been going back and forth on that. But yeah, I do agree that we do need to go keep moving forward on this and get stuff in place. Thank you.
Miigwech. Okay, now with no other business, we're ready to adjourn, and it is 10:38. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Moved by Shane, second by Tara. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, silent, motion carried. Miigwech, everybody, for attending in person or online, and we hope you have a good summer so far. We've got a lot of rain, but it's cut down the fire danger, so that's good, but it brought out all the bugs. So make sure you put your bug dope on when you go outside, otherwise you'll be eaten alive. Anyway, everybody have a good June so far, and we'll look forward to seeing you at our next meeting. Miigwech, have a good day. Gigawabamin.